Hi, Bob Long, LADC. Yep, I'm sitting in my car today. I'm not walking. It's way too freaking hot to do that. Just coming back from running an errand out in mountains of Oklahoma. I thought I would talk to you a little bit about the HPA Axis. And have you ever wondered why chronic heavy drinkers may be depressed or have just become emotionally unstable or become irritable? I'm going to try to explain that one to you today. I'm going to use some big words like the abbreviation is HPA. Now, believe it or not, I don't know everything. Most of these I just do right off the cuff, and I'm using my own mind to generate the stuff. That's scary, by the way. Today I'm going to use one page of cheat sheets because I don't want to get anything wrong here. The HPA system, that stands for the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis. Okay. Hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis. It's located really close to the midbrain. Just don't worry about all that. Just remember HPA. That's all you need to remember. And I really don't think you need to do that. But what does it do? It regulates your body's stress response. So when you have a very stressful day, yeah, your body's going to regulate itself, and the HPA system is what's going to happen. Now, we can really misprogram the HPA system quite a bit, and I'm going to try to help you understand that. Alcohol impacts that system, that axis, quite a bit. You drink, and HPA releases cortisol in response to the higher levels of dopamine caused by the alcohol to correct the imbalance. Okay, there I went reading. Understand that even if you're not a heavy drinker, let's say you drink maybe 1 or 2 times a year, okay, for whatever reasons, I don't care. If you drink a little bit too much, you put your body under stress. Particularly the D2 receptors, which are located in the head. D2 stands for dopamine receptors. There's D3 receptors and everything else, but they're throughout the body. The D2 are what we're worried about. They're located up here in the brain. So when they can only handle so much dopamine, naturally released dopamine. For instance, your favorite food is going to release about 95 units of dopamine. Okay, that's a natural, because you can have that food again, you're going to get that natural release, everything is perfect. But when we start drinking alcohol, we can have all the way up to 4 times more of that dopamine being released, and the D2 receptors are not capable of handling it, and it puts it under stress. So the HPA system access starts working. It does what it's supposed to do, and it kicks in with the cortisol. Cortisol is the exact opposite of dopamine. Dopamine is your euphoric, wonderful, feeling good chemical neurotransmitter. Cortisol is your stress hormone. If you didn't have elevated dopamine and your HPA system got out of whack and started pumping cortisol into you, you would feel miserable. Okay, so here we go. If you only drink once or twice a year, okay, then the HPA system says, whoops, the D2 receptors are under attack. And at this point, what happens is it produces a spike in cortisol, which tries to counter the high levels of dopamine. Okay. If you only drink once every 2 or 3 months or whatever, fine. After that, the HPA axis goes right back to doing what it normally does, and life goes back to normal. But if you're drinking every day, or if you're drinking every other day, or maybe 3 times a week or whatever, and you're drinking quite a bit, more than 2 drinks a day, okay, let's be very clear about that. You're drinking more than 2 drinks a day. Then what happens is your HPA axis puts out a continuous amount of cortisol, even on the days you're not drinking. So guess how you're feeling on those days? You're feeling kind of down, depressed, miserable, things like that. The other thing that you have to understand is serotonin. Serotonin is basically your feel-good things that makes you not depressed. If your serotonin levels are low, you're suffering from depression. Dopamine, serotonin work hand in hand. So when one goes down, the other one goes down. Here's what happens when you are drinking or using any other drug for that matter. You're putting your system under stress. HPA is putting out a whole bunch of cortisol, and it's putting it out probably every day with the patients that I see. And even on days that you aren't using, you are feeling miserable. You have insomnia, maybe you have difficulty sleeping, you have anxiety, you have depression. Hold on, I'm going back to my cheat sheet here. Oh yeah, you become irritable and emotionally unstable. What does that look like? Well, little things make you mad, or big things. Your anger comes out inappropriate. It comes out like, oh my God, I'm going to attack and kill. Or you get on the pity party route, and then all of a sudden you're the victim. You're the biggest victim in the world, and woe is me, and there's no point in living. And you may send out drunk texts that you will, well, maybe regret. I don't know. Or maybe you won't regret it. I don't know. But anyway, so alcohol is a cruel mistress. Matter of fact, I think that's the name I'm going to use for this video. And if you want a chance at getting a better life where you are lined out and not so freaking irritable and not so crazy, depressed, and you're sleeping better, give up that stuff that is creating so much dopamine that your brain has to work to counter it with cortisol, because cortisol is not your friend, and neither is alcohol. But you know what? I learned many times I'm preaching to choirs, and it takes a little bit. I don't know what it takes for you to change, but you really need to seriously think about changing, because you owe it to your brain. You need to like yourself enough to want to have a good life. You need to like yourself enough to respect the other people in your life. Good luck to everybody. Bob Long, LADC, out.